It's not only about the leader. To totally heap the blame on Nigerian leaders would be like according them the ability, the skills, the knowledge and all that you have, you which in the actual sense they are bereft of. So people have lost trust in the leadership of Nigeria. People have lost trust in the leaders they have in Nigeria, and hence anything they say doesn't make any sense, doesn't make any difference. When they talk, people say we've had such before, we've had even better before, and nothing came out of it. Now that is where the problem is. To me, and as much as I believe the problem of Nigeria is not about the followers, it's about the leaders. If leaders can really build the trust, if they can build the confidence of their Nigerians will follow them. Nigerians will obey them. Nigerians will trust them. Nigerians will do things as they say it. We unfortunately have leaders who want things done, but they don't want to show it by example. You want to have leaders who are only interested in their bank accounts, not the plight of a common man on the street.
Well, saying because you do certain things, we should be fine with it because you provide basic amenities. The question is, who should provide basic amenities if not you? So to me, that because you do certain things and we should applaud you. But I think I second to what she said. Unprepared leaders. I think it's you cannot disconnect it from looting of public funds. When people come into positional authority, in my own sense, I don't call them leaders, because until you are leading and you look behind your shoulder and see people actually following you, then you're not actually a leader. You are just occupying a position of authority and should not be translated to being a leader. So when people occupy those positional authorities, like being a governor, like being the president, or even a local government chairman, and they go there to loot public funds, you can almost be clear that the only thing they are prepared for is to loot public funds. If I spend, for example, 100 million naira on an election and I get into public office, what do you expect me to do? They see it as a give and take, a buy and sell transaction thing. I go there and I have to recoup my expenses. So unprepared leadership is the bane of Nigerians' development. Unprepared leaders, bottom line. Now, what defines preparation? When if I want to do a tax, I should have two things in place. First of all, I should have a heart to do that thing, and I should have a head to do that thing. When I mean a heart, the love for it. Do you really want to do this? And you need to also have the head for it, in the sense that you must know how to do it. It's not just enough to say you want to help the people. How do you hope to help the people? Because according to me, if you cannot help yourself, you cannot help others. So if we have not seen a leader who has successfully delivered personal achievement in his own right, devoid of government appointments, then we don't really have a leader in himself, because he has not really done something for himself. Then you cannot in any way translate that to doing something for the people. And of course, this notion is also in the Bible, where it says that you've been faithful over a few things. It said, I will make you head over cities. Being head over cities is like being the governor of a state. But you need to be faithful over little things, and I think that's exactly what they are missing in politics in Nigeria. Let us look at what you have done in your state. Let us ask questions. How successfully have you been able to, on a comparative advantage, lead your state into prosperity? And when I use the word comparative advantage, people are competing against each other, and states should also be competing against each other. And you need to come up with a kind of concept or a kind of business model that should leverage on that advantage and for the betterment of your people against what happens in other states. For example, the Niger Delta, or for example, something in the north. What are the northern leaders doing according to agriculture? There was a time when groundnut was actually the export of Nigeria. But right now, we don't see any of those things, because in my own sense, these guys are not prepared. They don't know exactly what to do.
Because most of them really, you can see, they are not ready for the position. They really don't know who they are, not to talk of knowing the people they want to rule or lead. And this is a basic problem in leadership. When you don't know yourself, you don't know your ability, you don't know your limitations, you don't know the people you want to lead, you don't know their peculiarity, you don't know their suffering, you don't know what you want to give them. Then how do you really convince them that you are with them in their journey, you understand them? I think In the aspect of having unprepared leaders, it is very correct that Nigerians have been having a series of unprepared leaders by accident, not by design. And in terms of she said she doesn't believe Nigeria is caused with bad leaders. I agree, Nigeria is not cursed. Whatever happens to a man or didn't happen to a man is the architect of his own problem or otherwise. I believe Nigerians can. That's where the followership comes in now. This is what we want. This is what we don't want. We actually can decide who gets there or who doesn't get there. So I believe with Nigerians who rise up and say, okay, this time this is what we want. It's not about the politics. It's not about it's from my zone. It's from my local government. It's from my. It is about accountability.
I think the leaders we have, it's just, and I think I'm sort of continuing from where the previous guy stopped, but the sort of leaders we have is just a reflection of we, the people of Nigeria. And I think it's just that simple. And I know a lot of people don't really like to hear that, because then you start hearing things like, oh, everyone is not corrupt, and things like that. But I think that it's just basically put that the leaders we have now are just a reflection of us, really. And that's just the way I see it. Just very, very, very just simple like that. The other guy was talking about individuals here in the UK. And I was thinking that, okay, actually, the individuals that are actually in Nigeria, the youths that are in Nigeria, are the most important people who need to change their mindset. Yeah, really, in the UK, you can't really do much, right? And youth nowadays, our mindset is really messed up. Talking about the fact that people just want to get rich without trying, really. But then if we come to the topic of godfatherism, now I was going to ask, because I don't really understand, but what's really a godfather? For instance, if I ask about somebody like IBB, we'll probably say that IBB is a godfather. But whereas IBB is a criminal, because IBB left the country at a time when he shouldn't have ruled the country. So the guy is a criminal, but he's a godfather. So what sort of message does that send to we the youth? Because simply, it's as simple as saying that, okay, if I'm somebody like IBB, then I'm a godfather, then I'm a powerful person, isn't it? So it seems as if corruption actually pays. So that is the message that has been passed down through the generations to the youth. So
PDP, APC, whatever political parties that we have in the society back home in Nigeria, they're all a bunch of human beings. And if peradventure the so-called godfatherism is going on in PDP, you won't tell me it's not the same thing that is going on in APC. You won't tell me it's not the same thing that is going on in other political parties. So my own opinion still boils down to the mindset. It's all about the mind. It's all about the individual. What's the chances that if APC comes into the picture, the same thing that happened with PDP won't happen with the APC? So I just believe that everything still boils down with a renewal of the mindset, the individual per se, someone with a clear, focused vision. It shouldn't be PDP. It shouldn't be APC. Those are just names that are attached to an individual. We are the generation that are going to make the change. And until we accept the fact that we are the generation that are going to make the change, the so-called godfatherism will keep going on. Even if tomorrow a young guy wants to become the president of this country, he will still have one person at the back holding him down, telling him what to do or what not to do. If we ask ourselves, all the so-called leaders that we've had in the past, they were educated in one way or the other. So I still boil down my opinion to the fact that it has to do with the mindset. It's very important that the mindset be renewed. Once you can renew the mindset to a positive direction, then you can actually start looking at positive change. Like they say,
we need to put a system in place where things are working. Okay, because that is one of the problems. Where we have a system where nothing is working, I don't think there's any way we can go from here. We need to create a system where things are working. I mean, we should look at other countries. We started together, maybe for example,